What's up guys, it's Deviate, and today I'm coming to you guys with another video. So what we're going to be talking about today is something a little bit different, okay? The style of today's video is going to be different, but if you guys do enjoy it, I can definitely bring more of it. And what it's going to be is a tutorial on kind of the beginner's guide or the basics of Rainbow Six Siege. If you don't know, it's a game that has just, well, the game didn't actually come out yet, but a beta came out for it, and it's a really hyped up game. It's a game that looks really cool in my opinion, and I've gotten my chance to play it in the closed beta, which I do have access to just because I pre-ordered it at the right time. But it's really fun, and I'm really enjoying it. So I want to bring a tutorial to you guys because honestly the game can be very confusing at first. It's honestly really hard to pick up on, and if you just jump into it like expecting it to be like a game of Call of Duty where you just go and kill everyone, you're gonna die and you're not gonna have fun. Okay, so I wanted to bring this video for you guys to explain to you guys the basics of the game, and I would recommend definitely getting it if you do have access to the beta. It is a closed beta, but if you do have access to it, definitely get it. It's only 6 gigabytes, and it's honestly really fun. Like if you enjoy search and destroy in like Call of Duty or something like that, you'll really enjoy this. Okay, it's 5v5, it's very tactical, you have one life, and it's just very intense. Now, I'm not saying that you have to enjoy search and destroy to enjoy this game, because honestly, I've never been a big fan of search and destroy in Call of Duty. I know some of you guys may hate on me, but in FPS games, I never really am a fan of one life, but honestly, this game nailed it, okay? They made it really fun, really intense, and honestly, the intense factor pays off because, like, when you try to stay alive and try to manage to kill everyone without dying or do whatever the objective is, it's gonna be really fun. So, anyways, yeah, we're gonna jump on straight into this. I'm gonna break down all the concepts and all the phases of all this stuff, and yeah, I hope you guys do enjoy this, and here we go. Alright, so the main concept behind this game, guys, is that there are attackers and defenders. Now, the job of the attackers is to observe and then attack the objective from one of several points of entry with the goal of completing the objective, whereas the job of the defenders is to fortify the objective location and then protect it from the attackers completing the mission. Now, there's 3 different game modes and 3 different missions for the attackers, and then 3 different game modes for 3 different missions to defend the objective. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but you guys get what I'm saying. There's 3 different game modes. I'm going to break those down, but each game mode has 6 different rounds between attacking and defending each round, and then if there is a tie, then then it goes into overtime, which is 3 bonus rounds that you can play, and yeah, it's just basically whoever has the most score at the end wins, and that's how that works. But then yeah, so I'm going to break down the phases for you guys because there's 3 different phases of the gameplay. 2 where you're not really playing but you're kind of playing, and then a 1 which is total action phase, which is actually what it's called, the action phase, where you're actually playing and doing stuff. And this is all going to help in the long run once you guys start playing, because you're going to understand what's going on, which I totally did not at first. So the first phase, guys, is the planning phase. This is where the attackers and the defenders both choose their attacking or defending operators. You select your loadout, but where it differs is that for the planning phase, for the attackers, you're going to vote on your insertion point, basically where you spawn and where you're going to start off to try to get into the building, which, by the way, this is all indoor combat, where you kind of try to go into a building and complete the objective or defend the objective. And yeah, for the attackers, you get to pick where you spawn, or for the defenders, you can vote on an objective location, so basically where the bomb will be or something like that, or whatever the objective is in a certain game mode, which, as I said, I'll get more into the game modes in a second. But yeah, you get to pick all this stuff, and it's kind of just like setting up the game, which is really cool because you get to kind of customize how the game's going to play for yourself. It's not just all the same bomb locations or stuff like that. It can really vary based on what you guys want. The next phase, guys, is the preparation phase. This is where the attackers actually use drones to scout out valuable intel on enemies' position, objective location, and fortification. So basically, it's like a little RC car. Like, you can see your teammates rolling around, and it's like a little RC car. You know, you drive it through, you can go under cracks and doorways and stuff like that, and you can see where the enemies are. So if you see like a guy laying in a corner in a certain room, you can tell your teammates that. You can be like, hey, there's a guy over here, or you can just make a mental note of it. You can also see where the objective is. So if, say, you're trying to defuse a bomb, you can see where the bomb is and get there faster because you know exactly where it is. And then you can also see the fortifications, which fortifications are a huge part of this game. Like, and basically what I mean by that is like burying up a doorway, something like that. You can see where those are all, or you can see where their openings are to get the best way. It's just a really important prep phase to see where everything is, what's going on, how it's going to plan out, and make your plan accordingly from that. And then for the defenders, guys, you can build your fortifications, kind of molding the environment to your advantage, where you can just really make it how you want it. So if you want a certain doorway open so that you can run through that if you're in trouble, or if you want certain doorways shut so that it's hard for them to get to the bomb, whatever it may be, you can kind of mold the environment, which I just love that in that get. I love that in this game because it's just really cool that you can kind of change the game and how it plays, and yeah, I really think that's cool. Alright, so finally, guys, the third and final phase is the action phase, and this is where you're actually playing. This is where you're trying to either complete the objective or prevent the enemy team from completing the objective. And as attackers, you will attempt to complete the objective before the limit expires, the time limit expires, or eliminate the enemy team. So you can win by one of those two ways, by either, as I said, completing the objective before the limit expires, or eliminating the other team. And then as defenders, you can fight to prevent the objective from completion or eliminate the other team. So you can win either way. By both ways you can win. Like if you're attacker or the defender, you can win by eliminating the enemy team, or you can win by preventing them to do it in the time limit, or you can win as an attacker by doing it in the certain time limits. So that is basically how the 3 phases work, and then it's just basically planning, preparation, and action phase. And I really like that. You know, it's just a nice touch to the game. And this isn't like a review of the game. I'm not trying to break it all down, but I'm just trying to explain it to you guys. And yeah, personally, I really like that. And then there are 3 different game modes that we're going to discuss in a second, which are TDM Secure Area. It's a PvP game mode, so it's player versus player. Then there's TDM Bomb, which is PvP as well. And then there's Terrorist Hunt Classic, which is PvE. So you're basically on a team of people, and it's kind of facing off against computers. And I'm going to break each one down for you guys and let you know how each one works. Alright guys, so I'll put the descriptions of each one of these on screen, but basically in a summary, for TDM Secure Area, it's a player versus player, as I said, and basically it's where there's a certain area in a room, say it's like the living room of the house or something like that. You're going to try to get in there as the attackers for at least 10 seconds, maintain a presence in there, so have at least one player in there for at least 10 seconds, and if you do that, you win. But the catch is that if an enemy gets in there from the defending side for any second at all, like just pops their head in there for half a second, then it resets. And basically you're just going to have to hold the position, have no one in there for at least 10 seconds. And it's actually a very hard challenge. It's something that is, you have to, requires a lot of skill and focus and good accuracy and a ton of stuff, which that's the thing about this game. It takes a lot of skill and thought. Not only does it take good reflexes and stuff like that, it's really not even good reflexes, but it takes good gun skill and stuff like that. But more than that, it takes like knowledge and using your brain to really do that. And that's why I really like this game, because it's not all about twitch reflexes or something like that. It's actually a very slow paced game, but it does get very intense. It's not even slow paced, it's just like, I don't know how to explain it, but if you guys get what I'm saying, it's a very intense game, but it's not definitely not like twitch reflexes, fast paced, super hardcore game, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, so TDM Secure Area is really fun, and you can win by either killing the other main team or whatever, or securing the area, or preventing them to secure the area in a certain time limit. The next one, guys, is TDM Bomb, and this is another player versus player, as I said before. And basically this is where you try to either as the attackers defuse one of the 2 bombs within the building, or if you're the defenders, you can try to prevent them from defusing the bomb, and you kind of want the bomb to go off and then you win. And so you're kind of defending the bomb, whereas as the attackers, which is kind of sounds funny because you'd think the attackers were the ones doing the bomb, the defenders were the ones trying to get rid of it, but it's actually the opposite. It's where the defenders are defending the bomb and making it go off, and the attackers are the ones trying to defuse the bomb and not let it go off. And then obviously in this one, as I said before, you can either win by killing the entire enemy team both ways. So if you're the attackers and you kill all the defenders, you win. And if you're the defenders and you kill all the attackers, you also win. And this is a very fun game. This is my personal favorite. Coming in at a close second, or the second place would probably be Terrorist Hunt, which I'll explain in a second. But yeah, there's 3 game modes in the beta, and they're all really, really fun. And yeah, moving on, we're going to talk about Terrorist Hunt Classic, which is a PvE, or player like versus robot or something like that, or computer game mode. So as I said, I'll put the image on screen. There's a longer description that you guys can pause the video and read. Basically, what Terrorist Hunt Classic is where you have 4 other players with you, so a total of 5 people. And it's kind of like TDM, like Team Deathmatch, not TDM match, but it's kind of like Team Deathmatch in Call of Duty, where you try to kill everyone. That's really all you try to do, but you do have to be very tactical. You cannot just literally rush in there and try to kill everyone, because if you rush in there, they're going to plan accordingly. The computers in this game are honestly very advanced, very smart, and they will plan accordingly. And if you just rush in there by yourself, you're going to die. Even if you rush in there with a team, you're probably honestly going to die. So you really have to be very tactical about it, very smart about it, and plan accordingly. You have to set up you have to like throw a grenade in there, then rush in it if you know there's one guy, or do whatever. You just have to play very smart and use your environment to your advantage and your tools. And that's why the preparation phase is definitely something that you have to do, because this will help you, or like kind of more the planning phase, I should say, because you can pick out what you're going to use for certain maps. It's all very tactical, and that's something that I really like about this game. Alright, lastly, guys, I'm going to give you guys a few tips and tricks about the game. Basically, this was posted on the Ubisoft website, or the Rainbow Six Siege website, and they give you a couple tips and tricks, and they're honestly very good tips, and I thought I'd take them right off there. So credit to Rainbow Six's website for doing these. I mean, I don't really need to give them credit, but whatever. It's definitely a good source, and they gave you some tips that I'm gonna read to you guys that really help. So, and some of this I didn't even know. So as attackers, you can bring up the drone's camera feed, provided they've not been destroyed. So those drones I was talking about earlier that you go in there with, the little RC car looking things, you can actually pull those feeds up if they haven't been destroyed yet and see where they are. So say you left one when you spawned, say like you were using it and then you spawned and then you just left it in a certain room. If it's still there and it hasn't been destroyed and the enemies haven't noticed it, you can pull that up and see where the enemies all are and use that even in multiplayer. So like against players, you can do that, which is definitely something useful. And then also as defenders, you can bring up the security camera feed to keep an eye on enemy movements. Now the thing is about this is that you can't just look at a TV and then look away with your gun up. It's gonna pull it up on like a remote thing and you won't be able to look, and so you are going to be vulnerable. Going along with that, you can also use an observation tool to scan for enemies, and when detected, the enemy position is revealed to your entire team, so it's kind of be like a silhouette of the player for your entire team to see. But as I said, you're going to be more vulnerable, so maybe you're going to have to do it tactically, like if maybe one guy covers you while you're doing that, and then whatever. Like it's just really, it takes a lot of thought to do that. And then also, while in support mode, once you've been killed, both attackers and defenders can see through their teammates' point of view and available observation tools feeds. And moving on, another tip that is huge that I strongly agree with is if you have a way of communication like a mic, which most people do have, then definitely use that, because even if you're a little shy or something like that, you're going to want to communicate with your friends or whoever you're playing with. I would recommend playing this with friends. That's definitely going to help if your friends do have it. But communication is huge. Like, it is very important, and it's something that I really think you have to do. There's a couple ways to communicate, like using your ping, using an enemy scan at the bottom of your screen. There's a compass, stuff like that. I'm not going to go too into detail about, but I would definitely recommend talking to your friends and being like, okay, there's a guy in that room, someone come help me. Like whatever you're saying, it really helps to communicate. And and then the last thing is that you can actually minimize your target profile, is where you can lean around objects in corners, and you can also crouch and go prone, stuff like that. You know, we already know this. We've seen it in Call of Duty and stuff like that, which I assume a lot of you guys do play Call of Duty because it's one of the biggest FPS games, and this is an FPS game. And then the last thing is to rappel everywhere, and that is true. Like rappelling can help you so much. You know, rather than going like guns blazing into the front door, you can rappel up, shoot through a window, open it up, slide in there, and so slide into their DMs like that. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I had to add some humor to this video, even though that was a terrible joke. But yeah, that is basically my tutorial on the Rainbow Six Siege and the beginner's guide to it. If you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like, and if you're new here, be sure to subscribe. I'm going to be bringing tons of Rainbow Six Siege content in the upcoming future. There's an open beta soon, but I do have got access to the closed beta, and then once the game comes out, obviously I'll bring a ton more content, which I'm very excited for. So if you guys did enjoy the video, please leave a like. That'd be sick. And that is all I got for you guys today. I will see you guys later, and peace.